What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah, and I'm super excited to be able to share this reality with you of me and we. This is one of those realities that I've ran around with in God for years, and I love it. I think it relates back to this reality that we disciple us. That's a conversation in and of itself. But in the church today, there's this reality that I have a personal relationship with Jesus, and therefore you can't tell me anything about my relationship with him. You just go do you with Jesus in the woods, taking turns down the mountain on Fresh Pow. You go do you with Jesus, and we'll just live that way. I have a personal relationship with Jesus. If there's anything that we've learned in this season, it's that social distancing is not the same as isolation. The culmination of isolation is death, says my good friend Dustin. Beautiful statement. But if you disconnect from the body, you're a body part, you can't live very long in isolation. If you're the lungs and you just decide to skip out on the body, you could maybe exist in cryogenesis for a long time and then pop back out, but you're not going to be very effective at your job living in cryogenesis. I think a large part of this mentality of a personal relationship with Jesus stemmed out of a broken mentality of the past, where it was very corporate. There was an overemphasis of only the priests could translate the Bible and preach it effectively, and the laity just had to come and consume, and it was all about decisions being made for the corporate body. There wasn't a personal application of truth in the body. Out of that imbalance then has come, I believe, one person's opinion, that the personal relationship with Jesus has been the far extreme swing to the other side as a backlash to a misapplication of an overemphasis on the corporate context. The beautiful part is that every personal application of truth in the body has corporate implications. And vice versa, the reverse is true, that any corporate application of truth has personal implication. It's this beautiful interweaving of me and we. Now, as I messed with this graphical representation of me and we for years, here about half a year ago, God told me to make a physical representation of the graphics that we'd been drawing together and play with it. So glad I did. Out of the very ordinary Ritz cracker box that I drew on and chopped up, I learned amazing insights with Jesus. One of the things that I really, it just drives me nuts in the body is the mentality of hide me behind the cross. Jesus, it's all of you, it's none of me. I'm just a great big bag of disgusting sickliness at the foot of your cross. I can't do anything. I don't even know why you use me. That kind of language drives me insane, because Jesus has said that we are the light of the world. When Jesus came, he was the light that came into the world and proclaimed about himself, I am the light of the world, which I believe is in John 7 somewhere. Look on the sides later. But then in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus declares about us, you are the light of the world. And so we get to arise and shine. I get to arise and shine as being a part of we. There is no me aside from we. I wouldn't be self-aware that there is a me that exists aside from an awareness that there are others around me. If I wasn't aware of we, the corporate society around me, I would just live by myself in isolation on an island and think about myself. That's pretty much it. So the concept of me, a self-awareness, is the awareness that there are others around me and that there's interaction between us. Likewise, there is no we aside from the involvement of me and multiple other me's. There's gonna be a lot of misuse of pronouns and grammar in this video. Don't judge me. Listen to what I'm saying, not necessarily the correctness of the grammar of the words that I'm using. So out of that reality within the body, that there is a corporate implication and application of truth, there's a personal application and implication of truth, and that Jesus has called us the light of the world. Let's jump into this graphic. As I allow the light of truth to come behind me, that as I orient my life to the light of his life behind me in the past, but I don't hide myself behind the cross. I allow myself to be positioned where Jesus has told me to be, in front of him as the light of the world. And I allow his light, the finished work of the cross, to shine through me. The beautiful reality is that then spread out in front of me, progressing before me, that it's the reality that you engage before me gets to you. See, that's what I'm talking about, but incorrect use of pronouns and grammar. But as the light of Christ and his finished work is behind me, what spreads out in front of me is a revelation of we. We comes before me as I am in correct orientation to the light of Christ and his cross that's behind me. The reverse is true too, that as I lift the corporate revelation up, as we move forward, I don't have to feel threatened that I'm not involved or that there's not something in the corporate value for me, that I don't have participation, that as we lift the corporate revelation of Christ high, backdropped by the light of his finished work. The beautiful part is that there is a magnified value and participation of me, that the body then puts me forward, that I go before the corporate body and the corporate body celebrates me, that we're to honor one another above ourselves. Here's where things start going awry. When you get the light on the wrong side, that rather than having the light behind us, the light of Christ behind us, the finished work of the cross, and that we're correctly oriented to the cross, moving forward in time, when we say, no, I'm gonna hide behind the cross. Christ is all in all. He's the light, and I'm gonna get the light out in front of him and shine the light on us, rather than having the light be behind us and us moving forward in the truth of what he's declared about us. That's when we start running into issues. When we put the light of Christ in front of us and we shine his light upon us as a spotlight, there begins to be bodies of people who have a singular focus that's oriented in one view or the other. It's either we before Christ and you don't get to have any personal input, or it's all about me. And out of those bodies, we don't get the reverse of having me lifted high, but we being put before me. And then we being lifted high and me being celebrated and honored in front of the corporate body. In the context where Christ is in front and we're hiding behind the cross and the light of him is shining on us to show how awesome he is, but we don't accept what Christ has said about us. We have corporate bodies that shine the light on me, the spotlight is all on me, and then behind me is more of me. And movements begin to be defined by the person who is raised up. They say it's all about me. Jesus wants me to think well of myself, and so I'm going to stand up. And the people that resonate with that message are behind that person. Their movement gets bigger and bigger, spread out behind them, and they move forward in time, and it's all about me. It actually masks the glory of Jesus' light. Likewise, there's lots of bodies that say, no, it's not about you. You don't get to have any personal input. The light of Christ is here. Hide me behind the cross. We're behind the cross. He's out in front. He's the light. We are not. And movements that have champions out in front that are shining that light of truth on themselves and making that personal application of it's we. Behind them is defined an entire movement that is defined by we. Now here's my encouragement to you. Jesus is all in all. Our Father, it's family. Our Father has given the kingdom to Jesus, and Jesus, through his Spirit, by the Father's good pleasure, has imparted the kingdom to us. At the end of time, it says that after all powers, dominions, and authorities, and names that can't be named, and all enemies of Jesus have been placed below his feet, that he's taken all of that unjust, dominating, broken authority and crushed it under his feet. It says that Jesus Jesus will return all things to our Father so that our Father may be all in all. At the current time, though, our Father has divested himself of the entire kingdom to Jesus, Spirit, and all of his children, such that he is sitting on the throne in his boxer shorts, retaining only the specific identity of himself. The beautiful part about that is that now we have participation with our Father in the kingdom in what they are doing. The corporate creative muse of let us make in our image, that we get to be included in that context of co-creative imaginativity. But it comes understanding that I have a very specific role within the context of the Trinity and the body, the bride of Christ. I'm not confused. I'm not God. I'm not Jesus. Neither am I the Holy Spirit. Neither am I you. I'm me. But within that I realize that in our family, that it's a family of honor. And as God raises himself high and says, we are the Trinity, that he places me and my needs out in front of him, which seems so strange to me. That is such a graceful reality. I have no idea how I got so lucky. Likewise, when I say, I choose to arise and shine, and I say, listen to me, that the person and people that I put out in front of me are my brothers and sisters, glorifying my Father, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, all of the patriarchs and matriarchs of faith that have come before me, that I stand and say, listen to me. But if you've seen me, then you've seen all of the family of faith, my Father, Jesus, and all points in between. It's not about me. Look at our family. And then after that happens and we is laid out in front of me, it turns around the other way and the whole family of God rises up to say, yeah, Elijah is blessed. We honor him. I'm guessing that I could be creating a massive mess. That's okay. The message will come out in the mess. I guess message starts with M-E-S-S-A-G-E. Weesage? That doesn't make any sense. I've sat with this reality for a long time, and I'm guessing that in the mess that could be created out of me standing up and declaring such a thing, it might invite a conversation, a larger conversation. Well, out of communication comes community and communion. I'd love to connect with you about this and talk to you about it more. The beautiful thing that I want to reaffirm is that extraordinary life with Elijah, what I am doing, that I'm arising and shining, letting my good works be seen so that others can glorify my Father in heaven, has this reality of me standing up, but it being about us, about being about you. First and foremost, that as I shine, that as I arise to let my good work shine, the orientation is that you would see my good works, but glorify my Father in heaven. And that as I arise to exercise the grace that God has given me, that it would impart grace to you, that you could know my Father. That I'm making these videos for you. That's why it's called YouTube. I'm not building these videos and making all of this so that I can get likes and be famous. I'm making these videos because I want to connect with you. And this system is the tube that allows me to get to you. Me? We. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I hope that makes sense. I often feel very foolish tackling these kind of concepts here on YouTube. It's worth it to reach out to find you. If you subscribe to what I am doing, hit the button, hit it, and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on your day. I love you guys lots, and I will see you in the next video.